Hello and welcome back to the Watford Way today as we look ahead to Watford versus Blackburn at Vicarage Road. As per usual, I'm very much looking forward to getting back to the Vic for the game this weekend. However, before we get into my thoughts ahead of this massive game for Watford, please hit the subscribe button down below. Let me know your thoughts on the match in the comments. Are you going to Vicarage Road yourself? Let me know, and make sure to turn on the notification bell so you get notified whenever we go live or upload in the future weeks. But yes, looking back at the previous game we played against Blackburn this season, it was actually under Rob Edwards originally, and unfortunately we did lose 2-0. And obviously that period under Rob Edwards was very weird. There was a couple of good performances in there, but largely under Rob Edwards we was very hit and miss. So I'm not going to go too much into depth into that game. They did beat us by 2-0, and I'm sure this Watford team will be looking to get revenge. And actually, for me, looking at this game and the players we have available and the players Slaven Bilic has available, I don't think there's really any more excuses for this Watford side anymore. I know Slaven Bilic, especially in January, week after week, when results didn't go our way, he was very adamant that he wanted another winger, another midfielder in the January transfer window, which is fair enough. I think any manager for any team would always like to strengthen. However, I feel like with Bilic and some of the players in their interviews after the matches, I feel like there was potentially too many excuses. And if Watford do want to get promoted this season, obviously not automatically, that's completely out of the question now. But if we do want to challenge, for them playoff places and ultimately win the playoffs, we can't be making these excuses week in, week out now. You look at the players we have available. Tom Cleverley recently just played in a under-21 match at Kings Langley. I believe he played for about an hour in that game to get his fitness levels back up. He may be available this weekend. Joao Pedro come back into the frame last weekend as well. Will he start? We've got Arajo, we've got Keenan Davis, we've got Sarr, we've got Ismail Kone, Hamza Chowdhury, Ryan Porteous, Wesley Hoot. We've got a fantastic squad of players available to Slaven Bilic now. And for me, if we go on a poor run and, we draw a few games, we lose a few games, I think it's completely down to the players and the manager, because for me, the excuses were probably warranted earlier in the season with the massive injury crisis we had. No team, whether it be Manchester City or Watford, could cope with 15, 16 first team players out injured. So I do think at the time, the excuses were probably valid and warranted. However, with the squad we have available now, we should be beating the majority of the teams in this league. Now, don't get me wrong, Watford have a extremely tough run of games coming up, starting with Blackburn on Saturday. Their key player is probably Ben Diaz, who's having a fantastic, season. Looks to be leaving on a free transfer this summer, actually. But Ben Diaz is probably the key player to watch out for in terms of Blackburn Rovers. But Watford should be beating this Blackburn side. And it probably sounds like, as a Watford fan, I'm probably being a bit too optimistic and a bit more bullish than I should be. But we do have them aspirations on getting promoted. We have to go now on a extraordinary run of form. 4, 5, 6 games on the bounce. Picking up 3 points week in, week out. The game's coming thick and fast. I think we've got Blackburn this weekend, then we've got Burnley, I think, on Monday or Tuesday, then we've got West Brom the following week. And those are really tough games as well. So this Watford team need to kind of get together, rally around each other, and fingers crossed we can put that run together to finish as high as possible in the league, get the confidence back, get our injured players back that are still to come. Because that's what we need to do ultimately. I don't think, as I said, there is no time for excuses anymore. We have to go on this run of form that we need to go on to get promoted. And yeah, as I said, in terms of Blackburn, they've had a decent season as they have in the past couple of years. As I mentioned, Ben Diaz is their top goal scorer, I believe. He's their best player. He's been wanted by many European clubs, actually. It's a fantastic story, actually, Ben Diaz. Obviously, he now plays for the Chilean national team after changing his nationality. I do find that whole thing fascinating. But yeah, as I mentioned, we should, fingers crossed, be winning this game. I should also be doing a vlog actually from Vicarage Road this weekend. So if you do see me out and about, feel free to come up. And yeah, you can give your score prediction before the game. But in terms of my score prediction and how I think this game's going to go, As I mentioned earlier, Watford have a fantastic squad of players available now. In terms of the actual starting 11 I would go with and my score prediction for this game, I would probably go with a 4-4-2 formation or a 4-3-3. It depends, who's coming back from injury, who's out, etc., etc. But I'll probably go 4-4-2. Dan Batman in goal, Mario Gaspar at right back, because obviously João Ferreira is unavailable due to injury. Ryan Porteous had a fantastic performance against Reading last time out, so he keeps his place for me. I'd go with Craig Cathcart next to him, Hassan Kamara at left back, just because we don't really have any other options in that area. I'd go with Hamza Chowdhury and Ismail Kone, with Ismail Assar on the right. The left-hand side is up for debate. Maybe I would play Asperilla, but up front, I'd probably go with Keenan Davis and Henrique Araújo. Britta Sombolonga maybe could be in contention to start. I don't know. He obviously come on and made a big impact against Reading. Unfortunately, his goal got ruled out, but I wouldn't be surprised if Sombolonga started this game. So that's what I'd go for in terms of my starting 11. Now, in terms of my score prediction, last time out we lost 2-0 to Blackburn, but that was under Rob Edwards. We have Slavan Bilic now. We have many, many more players available. We invested heavily in the January transfer window. So I'm going to go positive. I'm going to go big. I'm going to go bold. I'm going to go with a 3-0 Watford win. And fingers crossed it's going to happen. And I'll go with Ismail Assar at the double. And I'll go with Araújo to get the third goal in this game. And Watford to keep another clean sheet. And by the way, actually, I saw some stats on Twitter. I think Daniel Batman is pretty much second or third in terms of most clean sheets kept by a championship goalkeeper this season. So it's one to watch there. Daniel Batman could potentially win the championship golden glove, if you will. But yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. As always, I really do enjoy making them. Let me know your score predictions in the comments below. And as I mentioned earlier, if you could subscribe to the channel, it would be much appreciated. And make sure to keep an eye out for our match vlog that will be coming from this weekend's game as well. Bye-bye.